Trekkies, trekkers, fanboys, lend me your ears. I'm Rose at Channel 3 Digitalis, and I've come to a realization, an understanding about Star Trek Discovery that I'd like to share with you. I don't like it, but I finally get it. The 5 main problems we've had with Discovery are: what are the moral absolutes? Captain Lorca is awful, the Klingons are horrible, Saru is weird, and what's up with Sarek? To get a better understanding of the Prime timeline, I rewatched all the series pilots and final episodes, the movies, and the non-canon Lost pilots, Genesis 2, the Questor tapes, Planet Earth, and Spectre, and then I watched the Discovery series that's been released thus far.
What are the moral absolutes?
In the Enterprise episodes Demons and Terra Prime, we learn that the Terra Prime terrorists stole genetic materials from Commanders Charles Trip Tucker and Paul to create the binary clone Elizabeth Wells Tucker, who later died due to the incompetence of the Terra Prime cloning technology and technicians. The next time cloning would be referenced chronologically was in the TNG episode Up the Long Ladder. Commander Riker and Dr. Pulaski's genetic material is stolen by a society made entirely of Bakanovsky-style clones to increase their society's genetic diversity. Upon discovering this, Riker and Pulaski euthanized their clones in vitro. But, on Discovery, Lieutenant Tash Tyler was raped for weeks and there's no follow-up. Here we see the great socio-political leap forward of the Federation. At no point did Tucker or Paul challenge that the Terra Prime terrorists raped them. Vulcans, more so than Terrans, are personal space isolationists and body autonomists. Violating that space without sufficient cause, as far as a tactile telepathic society is concerned, is assault. Zoda, if you could.
Harm no one's internal, invisible iniquities. Leave others the privacies of their minds and their lives. Intimacy remains precious only insofar as it is inviolate. Invading it turns it to torment. Reach out to others courteously. Accept their reaching in the same way, with careful hands. From the collected writings of Sorek.
In 2 centuries, society, or Federation society at least, would make protection of the individual so fundamental that no one would question that Riker and Pulaski were assaulted and raped, nor that they had the right to terminate the... Wow. This is potentially a lot more political than I thought it was going to be. I'll just go to my next point.
Why is Captain Lorca so awful?
Discovery is the meeting place between the ape reaching for the sky and the angel soaring in the heavens, where we're still trying to figure out not only can we do this, but should we do this as well. We're watching a series in which the captain, the person we're used to seeing as the moral center of the show, is someone whose integrity we'd question. A person who left a Federation citizen to die in a Klingon prison and admits to destroying his previous command, the USS Buran, killing all aboard. Try and picture Kirk or Picard willingly leaving someone behind or not going down with the ship. We're so used to the Sorekian mantra, the needs of the many outweigh the needs of the few, or the one that we have a hard time imagining a Starfleet captain not engaging in self-sacrifice to allow his or her crew a chance to escape or even to live another day. It's actually pretty easy to find examples of the not, though. In the 3rd original Star Trek movie, Kirk and his bridge crew sabotaged a starship, assaulted and falsely imprisoned Starfleet personnel, violated a no-fly order, and stole government property to try to save one person. You can romanticize their actions, but they still broke multiple laws, regulations, and ethics, and, in the end, their punishment was being given another ship. As for Picard, his entire character arc in First Contact was realizing that he was still angry about being assimilated and being made to murder nearly 11,000 people, and that he was ordering his crew to their deaths for the sake of a personal vendetta. And we were okay with this.
No! No!
The main difference would be that we know Kirk and Picard. We know where they were born. We've met their families. We've seen them suffer. We've seen them win. We've seen them break. We know their strengths. And we know their weaknesses. We see them as humans with faults who can and have lost, but we don't know the captain of the Discovery.
Why are these Klingons horrible?
There have been complaints about how alien the Klingons look and sound in this version. That an extraterrestrial race with its own history, religions, morals, taboos, and hammered on the anvil of their own evolution is too alien. Once upon a time, budget and time constraints limited Klingons to looking like goth kids wearing too much bronzer, but in Broken Bow we suddenly got Tom Lister, Jr. in full Klingon regalia running through a field of corn. From TNG forward, budget allowed for more than gluing horns to a dog's head or visiting a planet that looked exactly like the unused set 2 buildings over. But, even then, the Klingons weren't alien. Their body language was recognizable, their appearance was different but nearly identical to ours. They used subtext and context that we understood without a problem. Their culture was arranged around symbols and organizations that we could recognize and accept. Klingons were the cranky frat boys of outer space. All hardcore bromans, drinking, and screwing around until Dad called them out.
There is something he wants to say to you. Yakel!
I apologize.
But consider the body language of simply another Terran culture.
Some Japanese people have reported finding typical American facial expressions to be a little strange, with mouths slightly too open and the mouth corners raised too much. And Japanese smiles can be just as confusing for outsiders. Nakiwara is a term used to convey crying while laughing and describes how Japanese people will be seen to smile when angry, sad, or embarrassed, as they also smile when happy. Nakiwara is bound to cause confusion across cultures. Source: Translate Media.
Thanks, Zoda. A distance of 10,000 miles and we see entirely different body languages. Imagine the difference 10,000 light years would make. But these guys? Ritual cannibalism, casual rape, overt persecution of people with albinism, establishing a destructive or death cult. These guys are aliens.
Why is Saru so weird?
Our odd man out in this series, our Spock, Data, Odo, or Doctor is Saru. He's so alien to us that it's frightening. He's from a planet with a dipolar food chain in which you are either predator or prey, and our Slender Man is very much prey. He evolved to know when death was near. This ability is so accurate that Michael Burnham manipulated it to see if Ripper was a threat. We're talking about a sentient cow whose spider sense lets him know the Grim Reaper is knocking on the door. The closest analog to this in Trek canon is Dr. Timison in the TNG episode Half a Life, in which an entire planet practiced ritual suicide. The difference being, when Saru takes his laundry back to Mom and Dad's place on the weekend, he could potentially be hunted and eaten.
What the hell is up with Sarek?
Seinfeld.
Nailed it.
Okay. Our series crossover character is Ambassador Sarek, and he's certainly not the polished and controlled Vulcan we first meet in Journey to Babel 20 years in the future. Stupid temporal mechanics. His legendary temper is on display. He keeps his wife, son, and adopted daughter at arm's length, even for a Vulcan. He's prone to emotional outbursts and is willing to lie to protect himself from embarrassment. Everyone, even the Federation, is so young and desperate to not screw up, that in the end they almost constantly do. The original series brought us in as explorers and scientists looking to see over the horizon. The next generation made us into political savvy urbane first responders trying to save the galaxy one life at a time. In Deep Space Nine, our own prejudices and failings were reflected back at us as the Bajorans strove to rebuild their society after a century of foreign occupation and to overcome nearly genocidal desire for revenge. Voyager asked us if we would be willing to trust the stranger with our lives as we tried to get back home, daring us to see the best potential in everyone. Enterprise gave us Cold War paranoia, racial conflicts, terrorism, distrust of the other, all while trying to live up to a code of conduct that brought out the best in us, but made life harder. Discovery asks us, we're in the middle of a war between two intergalactic cultures who think the other side is made of flying monsters. What would you do in my shoes? Gone are the absolutes and comforts of other series for us to fall back onto. We're now watching a human who wanted to be Vulcan, a prey animal who wants to be a predator, and a madman who wants to be sane. We're in an. Damn it. undiscovered country, in which nothing is absolute until beyond what happens now. We know that the spore drive will be considered too dangerous or immoral to be used for any reason and will either be scrubbed from Starfleet's records or so top secret that not even captains trapped in the Delta Quadrant will know of it. Discovery is canon. According to the great bird of the galaxy himself, all of the live-action Star Trek series and movies are. We won't always like it, but we will have to accept it. That's the downside about truly loving someone or something. Thanks for watching. This was Rose at Channel 3 Digitalis wishing you long life and prosperity. Please like, share, and subscribe.